Hi, it's Dominic Couch with Team Jobber. I got top four at the Remote Duel Invitational this weekend playing Drytron. My matchups in Swiss, I play against two Dragon Link, Tri Brigade, and another Tri Brigade. Round three was Tri Zoo, and the last round was Pure Tri. And then top four, I lost to the same Tri Zoo player I lost to in Swiss. Um, but the deck performed really, really well. And then without further ado, let's get into the deck. So I played for Drytrons. I played 3 Alpha, 3 Zeta, 2 Gamma, and 1 Delta. This ratio is pretty standard nowadays. Some people might play 1 Gamma, but I really, really like 2 because especially the matchups you grind, you can afford to let it get banished and play without it. And then it is the one that is definitely the best through Joe and Lockbird post side. And then I played 1 Draconids for 10 Drytrons total. And Draconids is like mandatory. A lot of people don't play this card, but this card is actually just so unfair. You really should. Then 1 Ben 10, 1 E to 10, and 1 Perfection were the rest of my rituals. I did not choose to play Natasha because when I topped the Remote Duel YCS with Natasha, I was a little less experienced with the deck, and I just kind of listened to my friends that told me to play Natasha. But with like further testing, I found that Natasha wasn't really necessary and kind of contributed to a lot of the Garnet-like hands or the hands I couldn't play. It just bricked me a lot more than it helped me play, and I never really needed it going second. I felt like there was always a Zeus line or Excess Code or Draconids line, which proved to be correct. I never missed it once. And then for the fairies, 3 Diviner, Standard, 2 Orange Light, and 1 Eva. Sometimes I really wish I played the 3rd Orange Light just because like it's really good to draw when you can already play, but this ratio is fine. I might play 3rd Orange Light. I never played 2 Eva even before the ban list. I would never play more than 1 of that card, so it going to 1 didn't hurt the deck at all. Then for the spells, I played 3 Nova, 3 Emergency, and 1 Drytron Fafnir. So Drytron Fafnir is a card that is not very popular all the time. I think there's not a lot of removal in the format outside of like Hieratic Seal. So Drytron Fafnir is really, really good, and Appaloosa is the thing the engine struggles to deal with by itself the most. And the card that can pseudo deal with Appaloosa, or at least forces Revolt, is Nova. So having another copy of Nova really, really helps going second. And then going first, Nova is the best like starter spell into Joel and Lockbird. So even though Fafnir gets drolled, unlike Emergency, where you Emergency then get drolled, if you Fafnir get drolled when you add Nova, you still haven't selected which Drytron you're going to add to your hand yet, so you still get to keep your options flexible. And then I played 1 Meteonis Drytron and the pre-prep package. The pre-prep package is really, really good. If this card resolves going first, the only cards they can have to interact with you are Bell, Ash, and Droll and Lockbird. Otherwise, the game is immediately over. And if they have to use Ash or Bell on this card, they will most likely still lose anyway, because this is not really a card you need to play. It's a card you play so that they can't interact with you the rest of your turn. And then going second, like in my top 4 feature match game 1, this is a card that just can break mid-range fields, and Perfection is very oppressive. And adding Ben 10 back just gives you way too many cards for another deck to keep up with. And Preparation of Rites, just want more copies of Ben 10. When you have Ben 10, it's very hard for you to be stopped. 3 Prosperity, not a super big fan of this card, but it's a card I would always play while I play pre-prep because you just want to see this card so they can't interact with you. And then I played 1 Called by the Grave. Cards at 1 for a reason. I played 1 Triple Tactics Talents. So it's kind of the same thing with like Prosperity and pre-prep and not why I only play 1 Fafnir instead of 2. It's because the deck only really loses when you see too many cards that do not play with each other. Like if you see like orange light, which is why I only play 2 orange light, or you see like Natasha, which is why I cut Natasha. You just want to avoid being able to brick with the deck. So only playing 1 tactics still gives me like the flex option of when I draw tactics. It's there, but it's not a card I need to see or I want to always see. So only playing 1 means I can't brick on it or draw multiples, and I'm okay with only playing 1 and seeing it a lot less than if I were to play multiples because I don't have the drawback of playing multiples. And then I main deck 3 Dark Ruler as a defensive card. I didn't want to play Droplet because if I Droplet the mirror match, the cards I have to invest into the Droplet to have a chance to break the board means that their orange light Eva in their hand could still beat me a lot of the time. So having Dark Ruler was a catch-all for game 1. The main deck was 42 cards. For the extra deck, I played 2 Mubeda, very necessary. Downer Magician. Some people don't play this, but I think a 4 material Zeus is very, very important for going second. And like really bust open the game. Also playing Downer Magician lets you Drytron Gamma revive your Mubeda after you like crashed it. And then you can just slam Downer over the Mubeda you revived and Zeus them, which is a play you don't have if you don't play Downer. Beatrice. Then for so I played Linkuriboh, Lina. Lina was a card I played because I didn't play Dragoon, which is also why I played Appaloosa this weekend. And Lina was the flex card I chose to play because I expected a lot of Dragon Link in the mirror match. In the mirror match, you can like halfway crack their field if you draw a Droplet or Ruler or you hand trap them, and then you can summon their Perfection or Draconids back. Or in some awkward game states, in whatever matchup, you can just kind of throw 2 monsters you have into Lina and ram it, and you can search, so it lets your like 2 Drytron monsters search Benton, which is really helpful sometimes. And then Appaloosa just seemed like a really good card to play. I never summoned either of these cards once. I would have summoned. I played this for Dragon Link because when they Hieratic Seal you. You can line them, bring back their Hieratic Seal, and then access code and kill them. Or you can make Appaloosa if they no longer have any field interactions, and the only possible interactions could come from their hand, and then you just play for free. I didn't summon either of these cards. I would have summoned this card in top 4 when Diviner popped his Gamma, and then I was going to make this to summon the Gamma. I popped with Natis so I could make Appaloosa for 3, and that would have been really, really good for me. But sadly, not the case. So I never summoned either of those cards all weekend. I played 1 Masquerena, 1 Phoenix, 1 Unicorn, and Access Code. And then I played 2 Arclight and Natis. Then finally the side deck. Like I said, I expected there to be Mirror, so I wanted to respect it. I played 3 Cycle Reader and 3 Drawn Lockbird. Drawn Lockbird is also really, really good against Dragon Link. And then I thought this card was really, really broken going into the tournament, so I played 3 Lancia. I'd probably still play 3 Lancia. It wasn't fantastic for me, but it was good enough, and it's searchable. It's good against Dragon, and it's good against Phantom Knight, even though I didn't play against it at all. And it's like alright against Tri-Brigade. And then I played 2 Droplets. Never saw this card, so I don't really know if I would play 3 going forward. I feel like the card just has to be in my deck for stuff like Shadal and Tri-Brigade and have another card against the Mirror. I'm not really sure. I sided 3 Twin. I sided Twin instead of the cards like Lightning Storm because I want cards I can chain to Imperial Order and Shadal Schism. And 1 Red Reboot because this card is just ridiculous. The game's over if it resolves against the trap decks. So that is my deck. Shout outs to the Vegas Discord. Those are all my friends. And especially shout outs to Ed Seption, who talked about Drytron a lot with me and hyped me up during the tournament and before the tournament. It's always great hanging out with all my friends in that Discord. And then shout outs to Team Jobber. that is my somewhat new sponsor. I've been on the team for a couple months now, or since like their Motu YCS almost. So big shout outs to Team Jobber. Check their YouTube channel out, and that's all.